I know you like the way I pop out. Let's go hit Lennox. Another week, another knockout. A different city. My partner whip a 7-4 now. He think he Wimby, but I'ma ride this Chevy Mally until it's empty. And Pastor don't take dirty money. I like it filthy. She my Achilles. I'm out for millies, not just for memories. Been on a mission, did I mention it before? I can't be slipping till I'm reaping what I sow. Can you meet me where I'm at before I hit the top? How many years I put in this just trying to make it pop? I had a purpose for they had opinions, but what hurts is when they close and know the most will speak on you the worst. I reminisce like every day cause I miss what it was. Try not to get caught in my memory and stuck in the mud. I used to drown it out with liquor, I kept me a buzz. Binging and faded to that same song, missing love. New motivation out my eyes, to be back on the prize. Can't go back where I was in my mind cause it don't bring you shine. I pop out time to show face and give my people love. That's all I got and now I won't waste it cause ain't in us here in this place enough. I know you like the way I pop out. Let's go hit Lennox. Another week, another knockout. A different city. My partner whip a 7-4 now. He think he Wimby, but I'ma ride this Chevy Mally until it's empty. And Pastor don't take dirty money. I like it filthy. She my Achilles. I'm out for millies, not just for memories. Been on a mission, did I mention it before? I can't be slipping till I'm reaping what I sow. Keeping my rearview mirror empty when I'm riding out, cause ain't never worth risking this. How I'ma break bread with them, but my pockets down and my head ain't into this. That's why I gotta keep my hustle strong and not let them breathe too long. Never know who needs you. Reaping without giving it seed to. I'm just seeing light when it's been years. Don't make no sense to me sometimes, but time and all it is. Perfected patience, tame my ego when I killed the pedo. This poetry is still my passion. Shout my nigga Theo. I had the vision way back when we smoked out the gazebo that I would make my step in history just like all my heroes. It's way more glory in the story when you come from zero. Most sacrifices still the price cause I know nothing free though. Ain't nothing. I know you like the way I pop out. Let's go hit Lennox. Another week, another knockout. A different city. My partner whip a 7-4 now. You think he Wimby, but I'ma ride this Chevy Mally until it's empty. And Pastor don't take dirty money. I like it filthy. She my Achilles. I'm out for millies, not just for memories. Been on a mission, did I mention it before? I can't be slipping till I'm reaping what I sow.
Welcome to NWA Connie Corsos podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. We back for another one. What's up, Stu boy?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I've been doing a little work today. Robbing people, trying to pay Paul.
Always. That's life. That's life.
We gotta eat. We gotta eat. What's good
with you? Yeah. Same old. Just doing my dog thing. You know.
That's what's up. Yeah, I saw you early today. I was trying to. I was doing that job. I missed it though. I saw you getting off the end of Buck City. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. Give it a little shout out.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I said, I got to go over here tonight. This man is busy, y'all. Yeah. Well, welcome everybody back to the show. I'm your host, Joe of NWA Connie Corsos, and we back with a regular guest, Mr. Schoolboy. You want to tell him anything about you if this is your first time here?
Yeah, well, I've been involved with the breed for almost 45 years now. Mm-hmm. Started out in the traditional sense and then went from there. I don't have dogs anymore, but I've been a weight pool judge, a confirmation judge, done seminars in U.S. and Mexico, and traveled to Europe, several states in the United States, and just like everybody else, I love the breed. Been involved with it for so long, so now I'm doing my thing. Now I do podcasts, write books, and sell memorabilia.
Right.
Got to stay. It's hard not to stay involved,
Yeah. And especially with that knowledge you got, man, don't keep it to yourself.
Yeah, no, I cut it loose when much as I can. I don't know everything, but I got enough experience where I can cover most everything.
Oh, yep. I feel you. Let me give a few shout outs. Dickie Foster, what's up, my brother? Zach Runyon, what's up, my guy? Zach, you had a question for me. You sent me. It was about selection. Ask that again in here. Vicente Moore, my brother Vicente Moore of Rock Connie Corsos. They coming up. Like I say, Dickie Foster says hi, Mr. Garcia. So
what's up, Dickie?
Yeah,
boy, right there. So good people.
Yep. It seems like he is. So I'm gonna tell you. I want to start with a story. I get a lot of calls every day,
right,
about these dogs and things like that. And this one call, it was interesting because I actually let him take up an hour of time I didn't have. And this guy, he told me, I'm the #1 Corso breed in the state. I'm this, I'm that. I went down to this big breeder and he taught me everything. I mean, he showed me his logo, and I just steady questioning this brother. And by the time I got to the end of the conversation, I found out this brother didn't even have a damn dog that was grown.
Unfortunately, that's common.
Yeah.
And I think with any breeder or whatever, the the accolades and all that come from your peers, not from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can put your information or your experience, whatever you did, out there, and then people will judge you on that.
Yeah.
And expect people to check on what you say. And if you tell them the truth, they'll respect you. If not, it's anything you say after that is invalid. Doesn't matter.
Right. So let's go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
When someone comes at people like that, I kind of, if I don't know them, I would question it.
Yeah, that's a lot of cap in a dog game.
If it's true, that's cool. He's just tooting his own horn. That's all right. If it's true, but in this case, it wasn't true. So
right,
like I said, that happens a lot.
Yeah. So, and what I was spinning off of that is about credibility. How important is credibility in the dog game?
Well, in my opinion, when you leave this earth, that's all you have. You have your credibility, and you have your what's the word I'm looking for? Your, whatever it is you did.
Mm-hmm. Your legacy.
And your legacy, or if you want to call it that. Yeah. So, because not everybody, but most people get to an old age. So what do you have after that when you can't do nothing no more?
Right.
Up to that point, you're building your credibility. You're building that up over the course of years by what you accomplish and what experience you've gained. Mm-hmm. And then a good breeder or good dog man or whatever, he shares that. Some people don't, and I understand that. I respect that. If people don't want to share what they know, that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're on a podcast, or you have a channel, or you're in a group or something, eventually you're gonna share something. It's just the nature of it.
Right. And I Buck City. I don't want to just keep throwing people names out, but that is a very good channel to watch, to actually see all those dog men swapping stuff. I'm like, damn. I mean, sometimes they just be going in. It's like, wow, I wish I had a notepad. You know what I'm saying? And
well, the good thing is that you can watch the videos after. That's a good comment right there, because people can get a notepad and take notes.
Right.
With as much information as you can.
Yeah.
Even the way I write or how I do things, if I'm taking notes, I just run it and take the notes without trying to put it in any kind of order. and then you can go back and put it in whatever kind of order helps you out. You could have one on breeding, conditioning, feed, maintenance, all kinds of stuff, just to help you out. And the one thing I always stress when you get information from somebody, including myself, is to test it. Don't take it at face value. It doesn't matter who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Test it, see if it works.
Right.
It may not work for you. If it does, hopefully you'll pass that information on and give the credit to the person that deserves it. And at some point, you're going to have your own experience and do your own thing your way. And then you can share that, or at least you'll have that knowledge if you don't share.
Right.
But it'll be real.
Right. And we can get a lot of stuff from books. We can get a lot of stuff from podcasts. But what is the nuances of having your hands on the dogs, learning that way?
That's the only way to learn. The information is good. Whatever it is, science, nutrition, conditioning, it's good. But if you don't put it to use, if you don't have hands on with it, it doesn't mean anything. It would be akin to somebody getting a college degree in something, but they only know theory. They never put it to use. They never did it. So they know all the verbiage. They know who said what, and they have references and all that. And unfortunately, again, a lot of people in the dogs, that's what they do. They're repeating what somebody told them. They're repeating what they read or saw, but they themselves don't have that experience. And it's not hard for me, it's not hard to figure out who's who. It takes about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just talking to somebody.
Right.
But it's just, sometimes people's ego gets in the way.
Yeah.
And you got to be humble in that. You have to understand you don't know everything. Everybody don't know everything, but that's okay. Because you're always learning. That never stops.
Right.
Doesn't matter how old you are.
That's right.
But you can accumulate a lot of knowledge over the years by doing different things. If I just did the traditional stuff, the competition in the past, that's all I could talk about. That's all I would know about the pit bull. So I had to get involved in other things, at least see it or be a part of it, to give an educated, experienced opinion on what I'm talking about.
What are some good what's good advice you would tell somebody who's looking for a guy to be hands-on with? Because myself, I know I don't went to different yards, and that's almost the best school you can get, spending a day with a breeder, boy. That's the best schooling you can get. But is there any other ways you can tell the people?
Yeah, testimony from others who've dealt with that person. If you have a chance to see dogs from that person in other people's hands and in that person's hands, going to their yard is great. That's the best experience you can have, because at least you see with your own eyes how the dogs look, how they behave, what their upkeep is like, their maintenance. And it was important to me. You know, I bred and raised and fed and schooled and conditioned my own dogs, but it was important to me for others to do the same thing with my blood. It's one thing that you can do it, you're good with it, that's great. But if someone else can take your stuff and be successful with it, then that just reflects on you as a breeder of how good you are.
Yeah, I'm glad you said about testing and things like that, because we did a show, The Breed Out of Pedigree, and we both agreed that the breeder is the first thing you want to look at. Not that the pedigree matters. I want to clean that up for some people, because you say that the pedigree does matter if the dogs are good. Am I right on that? Yeah. Would you expound?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give examples. We had offspring off a Jeep. I had dogs bred down from Bully Son, grandchildren from Red Boy, dogs straight from Boyles, Heinzel, all these different dogs, which that's common for people to go through different ones till you find out what you like. the good ones that were the ones that were good and made it, you keep them and you breed them.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that don't, they're culled out of your program. And these are dogs directly off Feynman's dogs. Hall's Robert, Hall's Sharon, Squirrely, Grand Champion Squirrely Shirley, like that. So that's what I mean when I say the pedigree only matters if the dog works out, because there's calls in every bloodline. There's calls from every dog. Doesn't matter how good it. Name some famous dog in the history of the pit bull or any other breed, and there's going to be unworthy offspring off of them, directly off of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you compare those dogs to the ones that are successful and do make it and are worthy, they have the same pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, the one that's good, pedigree matters. The one that ain't, it doesn't matter.
That's right. Yeah.
And then people will get into, well, they're bred the same way, they're holding the same blood, and they this and that. That ain't a good way of looking at it.
Right.
Because the dog, he's not only going to throw the genetics behind him, his ancestors, he's going to throw himself. Mm. So if it has major flaws, those are going to come out. And every dog has flaws.
Yeah.
And for me, if they're major flaws, I'm not going to keep them or breed them.
Right.
If it's something I can deal with, something I can nullify or get rid of to a certain extent, that's okay, a small flaw. But something major, you keep it and it just seems to take over. It'll change your dogs. It could ruin your dogs. It doesn't take long, 1-2 generations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like using dogs, that term skip a generation. I don't like using dogs like that. I want consistency, generation after generation after generation.
Right.
And
then I'm sorry. I want to warn you guys about something that if you kind of knew, a breeder would tell you. He'll say, all my dogs in every litter is he lying his ass off.
He lying.
Yeah.
You might get lucky and have 100% litter every once in a while.
Right.
And the way I one of the standards in my breeding was I followed the dogs that had a higher percentage litter. At least 50% or more worked out.
Right.
But in just about in every litter, there's some that don't.
Right.
So all of them, when they say all of them working out, basically what they're saying is all of them made it to adulthood.
Yeah.
That's it. Doesn't speak to the quality of the individuals. Now in today's times, because of the internet and because of it's hard to check people and see if what they're saying is true. But once you get out there, and that's the importance of making connections with different breeders and different people, getting testimony and hands-on or eyes-on people's dogs, that helps a lot.
Yeah. I got a question in here for you. Monacan Kennel. I remember y'all, I told you I didn't make straight A's in school now, so
Monacan.
Huh?
Maybe it's Monacan, maybe.
Okay. All right. Speaking of Jeep, I always heard he died after a hog hunt, and it was actually his brother that was used as Jeep dogs.
Yeah, that's a rumor that went around.
Oh, okay.
It's false.
Yeah, okay.
There's a famous picture of Jeep, and see what happened afterwards. The damage that Homer did to him when they took him to the vet. They had to cut a piece of his lip off. So on one side of his face, it looks straight rather than how the lip comes down. And then Homer punched a hole in his muzzle where he blew snot out of that hole. It never healed completely. He blew snot out of that hole the rest of his life.
Damn. Yeah.
And there's a picture about a month after that show where you can see that on his muzzle. It's Jeep. It's James Crenshaw or James Garrett and the editor of the Sporting Dog Journal, Jack Kelly.
Oh, okay.
So people say that, and it took a lot. They had to basically rush him to a vet. Crenshaw had a real good vet and save his life. And it's just disrespectful to say stuff like that. Or some people, oh, he tried to jump out, all this stuff.
Right.
My answer to that, when people criticize dog, not just G, but any famous dog or any dog that's been through a lot, is, have you ever had a dog like that? Have you ever had a dog that beat 3 champions and a 2-time winner in times of 28 minutes to almost 4 hours? Have you ever had a ROM dog that produced multiple champions and grand champions and offspring and grandchildren that were producers? Generally, the criticism comes from people that ain't done much or done very little.
Yeah.
It's easy to point finger, but what have you done? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You got the critics.
And a lot of that is just people saying stuff.
Yeah.
None of that was said during the time. If you read the match reports, there's 2 of them in 2 different magazines.
Right.
It's a great show. No disrespect to either one. Both of them were great dogs, Homer included. And Homer expired. That was always known. Right. But I refrain from that because I have so much respect for the breed. Yeah. And if something did happen, even my dogs, if they quit, I'll tell people they quit. This one quit, this one didn't. And this one won, this one didn't, whatever it was. This one lost game or quit, or won game or won impressively. Because I want the history of breed to be correct, even my own history.
Right.
And if you're not truthful, all that, it comes back to you. You may think you can skate for even years. And some of these people have done that, and then they get online and people start attacking them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were a liar or a thief or a cheat or whatever back in the day, and people don't forget.
Right.
You got to think about that.
Yeah, and they'll light your ass up nowadays about all that lying and shit.
They will.
I'm gonna tell you too, even on this YouTube, man, they can read through your ass. They can just look through your soul like, you lying.
Yeah. Because people can read character, or they, especially if they were there and you're there's a bunch of times people say, oh, I was there, I saw this, that, and then somebody will come, you weren't there, I was there, you weren't there. Yeah, that's not what happened.
These people out here is not dumb that watches these shows. And you got to think about the age bracket of a lot of people that watch these shows. A lot of people that watch these shows are 30 and up. These thinking people, you know what I mean?
Yep. You can't fake it.
No, you can't fake it.
Or you can't fake it for long anyway.
No, you can't.
It's gonna come up.
It's gonna come up. Yeah.
There's people online that seen my dog. They were there, or they matched into me, or they refereed or something. And I seen theirs, and I ref theirs, or I was a competitor. Right. So
yeah. He says thank you for clearing that up. Zach Ryan is here.
You're welcome.
He says, what are some traits or characteristics that can change in pups? And what are some that can not be changed or that won't naturally change? Woo, that's a boy.
That's a good one. That's a good one. In the traditional sense, gameness, it's either there or it's not from birth. And back in the day, there was only one way to tell that.
Right.
Now, due to the understanding of epigenetics, there's things, depending on how you raise a dog, can change them for the good or for the bad. Meaning, if you don't socialize your pup, or if they're stuck on a chain or in a kennel their whole life, you could develop timid pups. Not just shy, but timid, overly introverted. They're not fed right, you could change their structure, their bone, their muscle, their health. You could change their temperament, behavior. You could make them human aggressive or not. You could remove that want to bite people if they have it in them. Some of them have it from a very young age. I've seen man biters at 8 weeks old. They just show those signs of being that way and grew up that way. Some things you can't change.
Right.
That's just the way they are. Just like mouth. You can work on a dog's mouth and you can help it. And generally the mouth work, it helps them to hold on for longer periods of time. It doesn't really increase their bite that much. If it does, it's very, very little.
Right.
And a lot of the things, the dogs either have it or they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And
so when you had dogs, how long did you keep your dog before you made a decision on what was going to stay and what was going to
go. By the time they were a year old, I kind of knew which ones were
Okay, you kept them a while, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you have to. Even up to 2 years old. Well, one dog, he was a slow learner, slow starter.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't fully turn on till he was 3 years old.
Mm.
And for me, starting doesn't mean just engaging, because some dogs will go through the motions, but they're immature in their mind and they're not really putting 100% into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I use this term in Spanish. It's called coraje, which means basically anger or being mad. I had to see them mad or intense or show that want and that maturity to engage. It's not defensive. It's not for survival or anything like that. But that's what I had to see. And you can ruin a dog by pushing them too hard. Not just in the traditional sense, but even if you're a hunter or you're especially a catch dog, you get them out there too young and too early, and to get on a bad hog, it could cur them out from that.
Right.
But after a year old, closer to 2.
Okay. So he says, but what did you see in that dog to wait 3 years?
Well, with that particular dog, he would engage, but he really wouldn't take hold.
Okay.
What had me keep him around were 2 things. He was my dad's dog. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing. The other thing is when he would engage, if he got bit hard or he got thrown around or whatever, he never made a peep. He never whined, complained, never ran away. He scratched every time I put him up to scratch, and I scratched him several times. He just didn't have it in his mind yet what he wanted to do. He wasn't mature enough to engage like an adult dog should. But at 3 years old, I told him, and we talk about this all the time, other dog guys, about talking to your dog. I told him, this is it. This is the last time. Mm-hmm. You don't start now, you ain't going to make it. I ain't going to keep you. Mm-hmm. That day, he turned into a cannibal.
Yeah.
So he got the message, but he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And what I don't like about that is I like mine to start young. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean I started them young, but that's something that was in my family of dogs that I wanted to retain, and I did. And most of them, I never really had a dog that didn't start. I had some that didn't finish out right or quit, but having them start, and a lot of that has to do with the way you raise them too. Everything that I did was geared toward that competition. Anything I could put them to help them advance or keep their mind focused on that, that's what I did.
Zach, he's working you tonight. He said, did he produce that, or did his pups show improvement?
He was never bred. He was he didn't. It was at the time. By the time he was 3 and a little older, I had got hemmed up for dog fighting, so I had to go through that process, and I couldn't keep any dogs, so I had to get rid of all my dogs. Mm-hmm. So I sold him to a dog man. He ended up beating the Cottingham, a famous dog man, and then he didn't live after that.
Right.
But I'll say this too, to that point and other points on breeding, is because he was that way, a late starter, I probably wouldn't have bred him, because I don't want that trait in my dogs.
Right.
But I wouldn't have put him to sleep, because he was my dad's dog. He was a very smart dog. He was house trained and trained to ride in the back of a pickup. He could be loose, because my dad was real familiar with dogs. He just knew dogs. Mm-hmm. And just got him to do basically whatever he wanted him to do. So he would have lived out his life with my dad. It was a beautiful animal. After we're done, one of these days I'll send you a picture of it.
Yes, him. Yeah,
Sharp,
okay.
Sharp looking animal. Big old teeth, man.
Yeah. So this next question is for historical purposes only, guys. You know we ain't doing nothing illegal over here, but here's a question. Diamond Grit, salute, brother. And 24/7 salute. Samurai Kennels, Williams, Old Yellow Dogs. What up, my brother? So
what's happening?
Diamond Grit is popular in my world. He's a Corso breeder. Think he's in Florida. I might be wrong, but I know he's somewhere in the South for these hogs. High school boy, since you've seen and done it all, I'm curious, what are some similarities and differences you notice in proving a dog through hog hunting versus dog fighting?
Yeah, they're it's not the same thing. But I've mentioned before that every sport or working animal, sporting or working animal, has their own form of gameness.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been on several hog hunts, and I've seen 30, 40, 50 pound, up to 80 pound catch dogs on hogs that are 2, 3, 4 times their size.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest, longest tusks I've seen on a hog were 7 inches. So the dog can kill the hog can kill a dog. They can kill you too if you're getting that position.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And what I notice in both is just what I talked about, that want to engage, and fatigue, frustration, pain doesn't stop the individual from completing that task. That's one of the ways I measure gameness. If they can work through the pain and deal with the frustration and overcome the hot spots, the fatigue, the dog's pretty game. So you'll see that in some hog dogs. You'll see some get hit and they'll run away. You'll see some get hit and they'll maneuver differently. And you'll see some get hit and they stay on it no matter what. They could be flipped around, they could be knocked down, rolled around, whatever it is, and they just stay there.
Right.
So in that sense, that's a form of gameness for catch dogs.
Okay, gotcha. I got a question from 24/7. What's a telltale sign for neuro issues? Is it tied into spinal cord development in the fetus, such as cleft palates and or kinked tails? And what's the fix, if any?
That I'm not a scientist, but any flaw that's in a dog can come out. And just about any flaw that we can think of is somewhere in that dog's ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
If it's in the individual itself, it's going to come out. And some of them develop later as they mature. You won't, for instance, you won't really see hip dysplasia till they have some age on them. Mm-hmm. Spinal column, whatever it is, or internal organs, kidney failures. In fact, I had a friend who his dog passed away. She had a massive seizure and they didn't know what was wrong. She showed signs of not eating and having loose stool, all this stuff. They didn't know what was wrong. They took her to the vet. Vet couldn't figure it out. Mm-hmm. She ended up having a seizure and died. Well, he had an autopsy done. She only had 1 kidney. Mm-hmm. So that attributed to her passing at an early age, only 4 or 5, whatever it was. Some of the stuff you can't see, you have to see it in real time as they mature. Can you fix certain things? Yeah. To the extent that you don't include those individuals in your breeding program.
Gotcha.
No matter how good the dog is or how much you love the dog or how much money you think you could invest into fixing the problem, it's not wise to do that because that problem is in that individual and it's going to come out. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to put the dog to sleep. You love that dog, it's your pet, make it a couch potato.
Yeah.
You want to invest all that money to save its life, even if it's a cripple. That's your prerogative. That's your business. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. But as far as breeding, my advice is don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And that's a long, hard road to follow. But the end result is you have good, healthy individuals with a high immune system that are durable and tough and smart and all these attributes that we talk about dogs. And you'll have less dogs to cull from your program. That's the point of the whole thing. Rather than culling a bunch and having a few that work out, you'll have a bunch that work out and you'll only have to cull a few. That's the whole point of that what I just said. I don't like killing animals. I don't like killing nothing. It's not in normal people to do that. But it's something that's necessary to get to the point. Yeah. To get to the point where you don't have to do it so much.
That's right. That's right. And let me somebody got on to me about the pedigree. And so let me say this publicly. With my dog, the Corso, the pedigree, you got to watch it because we got a big deal with epilepsy, and there's certain dogs attached to it. So I just want to say that because she was like, "You make sure you fix that."
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and this is what's common, not just with Cane Corso and Pit Bull, every breed of dog. If you don't have those high standards of youth, vitality, health, immune system, that's where we see things like that: kidney failure, epilepsy, cleft palate, hip dysplasia. Because rather than culling those individuals, the people breed them. And now you have a high percentage, or you have over a long period of time, just like, well, German Shepherds, you got to watch out for hip dysplasia. They never had it before. They didn't have it before. If they did, it was minute. So what brought it about? They stopped using them for a particular function, and they bred individuals that they shouldn't be breeding. And just like I said before, those major flaws, once they're in there, they're going to spread to everything.
Yeah.
Hard to get rid of.
Yeah. Yeah. And then two schoolboy, I see a lot of especially in my dogs, but probably not so more in the pit bull dogs, and I would probably know why. But in my world, you have people always touting their health testing, and which is cool, right? The health test. My dog, there was a question, what makes a good breeder? Health test, health test, health test. I never saw anybody say anything like, was anybody working the dogs? Because I would look for things like, are they doing something with the dogs? How old are the dogs? Are they still doing it? And I want to see how old that stock get up and how long they working. That's a telltale sign.
Exactly.
Problems. Yes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right there. Because some things don't develop until later.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if an individual has cancer, generally they don't get it until later in life. Dogs too. Yeah. It might be 4, 5, 6, might be 10 years, 12 years. The cancer's in there, but it doesn't exhibit itself till later. Or, like I mentioned, unless you do an X-ray, how are you going to know your dog's missing a kidney? Or how are you going to know they have hip dysplasia? And at what age do they develop hip dysplasia or that spinal injury? Right? So, but what helped, the reason the health is so important is because if you keep your dogs active doing something, those flaws will show themselves because they can't perform athletic events, or they show a weakness in their athleticism. For example, I watch different breeds. I've seen videos and pictures of Cane Corso. Just looking at them, I can tell which ones are healthy, which ones have problems and don't.
Yeah.
And especially so on the videos. They're overweight. It's their gait, the way they walk, they sway back and forth like that, rather than having a solid gait. And the ones that I've seen work, they look a lot different than the ones that don't. It's like night and day. It's not even the same dog.
Good point, schoolboy. Good point. Yeah.
You see that in horses and ponies. You see that game fowl,
right?
Livestock, pig, whatever it is.
Right.
You just have to have that eye, that experience of being around them, working with them, having them, and then you'll notice the differences.
Right.
So with breeding,
go ahead.
You have to have hands-on experience, and it takes time. You could make a breeding that works out, and it's great, but that's all you did until you have a base, a foundation, and you have consistency in your family of dogs. You're not going to have better ones than lesser ones. Right. That takes time. It takes generations. By 3 or 4 generations, you're gonna be pretty set.
Yeah, I was about to ask you a question off that. When do you know your family of dogs are pretty solid? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and where I get that from is from experience, but also if you look up, just Google, how long does it take to create a new breed of dog? And they'll say generally 3 generations. So with pit bulls, because what we did with them in the past, I'll say 4 generations. Some people say you need 10 or 12. You don't, because after 10 generations, those dogs that you started with, they don't really have any influence on the dogs you currently have. Where their influence will show up is if you keep the same traits generation after generation. Then those traits are going to be solidified in your family of dogs.
Right.
So they're going to they could get the same trait from their sire that their sire got from their great grandfather. If the great grandfather's offspring and progeny retain that trait.
Okay.
But his particular influence, it's not there anymore. It's not there. 8 or 10 generations.
Gotcha.
But that's how you keep it going. You keep it going with every generation. You retain those traits.
Gotcha. Let me look at some of these comments. 24/7. Seen a video of a Patterdale on a hog dog. The doggos were second guessing until the Patterdale latched on and kicked in their fight drive. Okay. Yes, sir.
There you go. That's that terrier mentality. They don't. Most dogs that are working dogs like that are farming dogs or pit dogs or doggos or whatever it is, they have that instinct in, but terriers have it to a higher degree. So they will engage, and it doesn't matter how small they are compared to the prey or how big they are compared to the prey. They're going to engage because it's been bred into them for so many years, a millennium. That's where we get that feistiness from the terrier like that. Right. So if you have something that's going to sit around and wait, or they're cautious, that terrier is going to get right in there. And it could inspire the other ones to do it too.
Yeah.
Dogs communicate with each other. Sure. They have a language just like everything else does.
Right.
Well, maybe he's going, you're going to sit there, or you're going to, if you ain't going to do shit, I'm going to get in there and do it.
That's right. Know? Yeah.
I don't need you.
I could be out there feeding them, washing pins, having a dog run loose. Fight might break out, and then you got one shit. I'm jumping in just because.
Just because.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah. Sir. Yeah.
It's in nature to do that.
Yeah.
And some it's in people's or animals' nature to flight.
Right.
Not fight, but flight.
And some of the politics in dogs, man. Sometimes I got this mother bear dog, and I never let them all out together no more. But she was trying to control the yard. So they just got tired of her ass one day, man. They tore her ass up, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens too. That could be a hierarchy thing. It could be a pack mentality or whatever it is, or it could just be they want to dominate no matter what.
That's right. Yeah. Chronicles of a Master. Clyde looking for you, bro. Clyde looking for your ass. I'm sorry I came in late. What breed of dog you guys talking about when you refer to catch dog?
Well, a catch dog is not. It hasn't been sanctioned or recognized as a particular breed. Catch dogs are used mostly in hog hunting. So it's any dog that will engage with a hog and hold on to him.
Mm-hmm.
And different breeds have been used for that. And the best one I seen was a combination of different breeds.
Right.
Heavily inbred pit bull. He had some Mastiff or Great Dane in him. He had Hound Dog in him. He was an expert, and he was a big dog. He was about 80 pounds.
Right.
He could finesse a hog. He could control a hog. He could attack a hog.
Right.
Most of them are pit bull or pit bull crossed with staff or crossed with hound. You have to have something that will actually engage and stay in a hold.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really a catch dog, and I've implored people to develop a catch dog breed. Now there are people, I have friends that they breed their catch dogs, but and then they're just breeding the best ones to the best ones, and they get more catch dogs.
Right.
But to say what's the standard of a catch dog, there really isn't one yet. It hasn't been developed in that way.
Yeah.
Because hunters, they just want a good dog. They don't care about pedigree.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Diamond Grit. Diamond Grit. You might come on one day. We might chop it up on with Schoolboy or something, because he's a really, remember his channel and go watch it, Schoolboy. He pretty real active with the hog hunting. He using the Corsos.
I loved it. I never called myself a hunter. I'm a helper when I'm there.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't cross lines. They're the experts with hogs, catch dogs. I'm the expert with pit bulls. They respected me. I respected them. We got along.
Yeah.
And I'd even have my wife out there with us on them hunts.
Yeah.
We had a great time. In fact, one of the stories is in one of my books. There's a whole story about this hog hunt we went on.
Oh, really?
That's involved. And they will test you. The hog hunters will test you. They want to see if I'll break a dog off a hog. I've done it. They want to see if I send a dog in or all that. To me, it's all the same in that you have a functioning, sporting or working animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had all kinds of dogs my whole life. So you can't be scared of dogs, and you can't be scared in those situations. Mm-hmm. But you might have to get in there with the hog with your dog.
Yeah.
And the guys I know, they do it. They don't care.
Right.
I've seen some get hurt, some get near hurt. I've been attacked by them. Me and my wife been attacked by hogs. You better be quick.
I know that's right. Yeah. I'm a country boy, but damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like anything else, you have to become acquainted with it. You have to go out and do it several times. We went on a bunch of them over the years.
Yeah.
Tons of them. You have to be able to not only that, but you gotta strip it and butcher it and all that stuff too. You have to get in there to have the whole experience. There's one famous dog man who talked about catch dogs, and he went to the same ranch I did, and he wouldn't even touch a hog. It kind of the hog hunters, they kind of lost respect for him for that.
Yeah.
You're writing all this stuff, and then you don't want to touch the hog. It's like, it's got blood on it and shit.
Yeah. Motherfucking scholar until it's time to get your hands dirty, huh?
Yeah, man. That's no way.
Yeah. We got a few more minutes, y'all. We're gonna wrap it up. Schoolboy got stuff to do, and so do I. So Chronicles of a Massive Epilepsy Trait comes from the influence of boxer blood in the so-called modern-day Connie Corso. Yes, sir. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Schoolboy. Hold on.
Well, it's good that they know where it's coming from.
Yeah,
but it had to be allowed to be in there and passed on for it to have that much influence on a particular breed of dog, just like the hip dysplasia in German Shepherds. Somebody dropped the ball, and now it's permeated throughout the breed. For someone to say epilepsy comes from the boxer, hip dysplasia comes from the German Shepherd, and brain mishaps or brain damage comes from the Bull Terrier, that's a sad situation. Somebody, like I said, they dropped the ball. They didn't call properly.
Right. Let me get through some of these comments. 24/7 fight versus fight. Schoolboy, do you condition? He don't have a catch dog. Do you condition your catch dog same way you did in the past with your pits? Oh, I see.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't have catch dog. There's with the guys that I know, there's more running involved. Right. It's not so much strength work. But if I did have catch dogs, I would condition them basically the same way. I would do more work on building up their air and endurance than I would their strength, but strength is important too. I like speed and strength. So with the catch dog, and even some of my pit dogs, if they were more of the long distance type, I worked more on developing their air than I did their strength. I did strength work too, but just that if it was a more stronger barnstorming type or something like that, then I would do more strength than endurance. But you got to have both. Either way, you got to have both.
Right. Chronicles of a Master. Schoolboy, do you know who Captain America is?
Yeah, Louis Vinagro. He passed away. Rest in peace. He was from Rhode Island. Very famous dog man. He's best known for having the Burton's Grand Champion Hank Andre Giroux crosses and Burton's Grand Champion Hank Grand Champion Boomerang crosses. That's basically what he worked with. He had other stuff too. Very famous dog man. I met him one time at a confirmation show. Had a lot of knowledge. He was a hog farmer and involved in the garbage stuff up in Rhode Island. He is a politician, all around man of men.
Many things. I feel
his son, he called him Jitsi. His son conditioned a lot of dogs for them too. He was heavily involved. Condition and handle back in the day. I don't know if he's still alive, but Captain America passed away several years ago.
Okay.
Top dog man.
Gotcha. Chronicles of a Mastiff. At Schoolboy were his dogs back in the day stifle dogs?
Some of them were. Probably the most famous dog I'm known for is Big Red. He was a shoulder and stifle dog. His sire was the same way. I didn't get a lot of stifle dogs off of him for some reason. It just didn't pass on that way. But that particular rough style, that finishing trait like that, he did pass that on. A lot of good traits and a lot of good dogs off of him. But I've seen, for example, the Bully Son dogs are known for that. Even the Niggerino bred dogs, the Jocko dogs, they're known for that style. The Chinaman dogs are known for that style. But a lot of dogs, regardless of the bloodline, they'll go there if it's to their benefit. Or you could even teach them to do that.
Right.
With some dogs.
Gotcha. Okay. Diamond Grit. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I love to be on with Schoolboy. I have great respect for these folks that been there, done that, and speak from experience. That's take years, blood, tears, and sweat. Yeah. We are very fortunate, when you have guys like Schoolboys, because one thing about this type of mentorship that's available for the people, and y'all remember, I always send him something to his Cash App. I forget it. I'm gonna start posting it. Because one thing a good mentor does that a lot of people don't understand, helps you cut down on mistakes, because mistakes can be costly.
Yes, sir. If you're willing to listen, you have to be willing to listen.
You have to listen, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I do it. All the mistakes I talk about, pretty much, I've made them. because I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go through that process. It's heartbreaking. It's a lot of work, blood, sweat, and tears, and all that. So that's one of the reasons I do it. I understand what it's like to want information and it not be available. So I'm going to put it out there.
That's right. Yeah. This is uncensored over here. So we're going to put it out the best we can. And Schoolboy is always type in Schoolboy on YouTube. This man be working all over the place. This man on like 3-4 networks.
Yeah. I was just on another one today.
Yeah.
And your channel came up, and I told people, hey, come over to NWA Connie Corsos, man. I'll be on there later. But besides that, it's a good channel. Watch it. There's a lot of information. And the Connie Corsos, it's a popular dog now. There's a lot of people that have them. You can have them with that.
Yeah.
You can help them with that. Mm-hmm. I can help with dogs. When it comes to particular breeds, I'm limited.
Right.
But a lot of that stuff is across the board anyways, especially if you're talking about breeding or conditioning. That never changes. The method, techniques, and all that, but breeding and conditioning never change. The improvements are, better food, better health, different conditioning techniques. Mm-hmm. But the concepts of them, same thing with breeding. Every breeding technique has been done. Concepts don't change.
Right. Yeah, that's why I made it an all breed podcast, because one thing in my personal life, I ain't gonna never put a ceiling on top of me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We can't learn from each other. That's when you're putting a ceiling on top,
That's right. You're right.
Yep. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let me so y'all, we about to get out of here. We got about 4 minutes. You got any last questions? Get them in. School, did you know Ming Man?
I know the name. I followed his career back in the day. Yeah, I'm familiar with the name. I didn't know him personally. Mm-hmm. And even the dogs, someone will remind me what dogs he had. I'll remember them, but off the top of my head. But yeah, he's a very well-known dog guy back in the day. In my books, I mentioned a lot of the guys that I knew personally. Most of them I knew them personally back in the day, or met them later, different functions and whatever.
Right.
So it's my own personal association with them, their stories, what they did. Sometimes I competed against them, or saw them compete, or I ref for them, something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna take this as the last one, and then we'll have closing remarks and benediction. Chronicles of Massive. Damn, man, you got a lot. Hey, man, I'm gonna make you start hitting that make these suckers turn up green. Golly, bro, you get the only in the day. Schoolboy, real quick. Please explain what a bully, American Staffordshire Terrier, and American Pit Bull Terrier. You want to know what the differences are? What you want to know?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, the American Bully is a mixture of different breeds of dogs. It has Pit Bull in it, but it's not a Pit Bull. Mm-hmm. It might have Mastiff or other stuff. Whatever they did, it might have an American Bulldog. It might have Old English Bulldog. Whatever it is, I'm not familiar, but it's not a Pit Bull, and it's just different breeds of dog. Somebody made a standard of this is what a bully looks like, and this is what it's supposed to be, and you have temperament and behavior and all that stuff. American Staffordshire, for the most part, it has the same lineage as Pit Bulls going back in the past, but it went off in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And one of the differences in the breeding aspect of it is the Staffordshire Terrier is mostly of the English blood variety. Going back to Swineford and Henry. That's why they look kind of the bully type, right? Very impressive looking dogs. Some of them used in competition back in the day. And another thing is, people wanted to dual register their dogs. The AKC doesn't have a standard or a breed named American Pit Bull Terrier. They came up with a different name. They were trying to get away from that pit aspect of it.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them went to the show side. There's some of them in the past that were still used in competition. Mm-hmm. And they just went in different directions.
Right.
And the Pit Bull itself, for the most part, for many, many years, was used in competition. It's basically a mixture of English and Irish dogs, fighting dogs from the United Kingdom, with some influence of Scottish, Welsh, those influences were way back.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what you have is you had people crossing English and Irish dogs in the old country, and then you had English dogs coming over here and Irish dogs coming over here, and they just repeated the same thing, put them together. That's what made the American Pit Bull Terrier.
Oh, okay.
You want basically you want the Irish dogs for the gameness and tenacity and all that, and the English dogs were more of the hard biting, strong type of dogs. Put them together, you hopefully have a complete animal. And that's been proven all the time. So in later years and more modern times, all people were doing was repeating the same process. The crossing English and Irish. For example, if you put Bully Son and let's say you put Bully Son and or Lightner Colby, heavy influence of Irish dogs with smaller influence of English dogs. You put Bully Son, heavy English of English dogs with the more terrier type of Bodillo and Klaus, Irish stuff. So whether people realize it or not, we're just repeating the same thing that was done in the past. Whether you realize that's what you're doing, that's what you're going to end up doing, because the result shows you what works. It's always work. That's what it is. And you're going to do it even if you don't realize you're doing it.
Right. All right. Well, that's why experience matters. You know what I'm saying? So I think we can better way to end it than how you just did. So like I say, everybody go over to Schoolboy channel. Me and him do this every other week. So watch my community tab. I usually set the date and set the subject matter. But if y'all have any subject matter, send it to me, put it in the comments. And we'll hook it up. Let me see. Somebody saying something. Joe, you had to drop me your number. I'm an OG. We need to talk over the phone, brother. Yeah, we do, man. We do. We really do. But I'm all over the place, bro. NWA Corso. On this, I'm just gonna pop up my telephone numbers, everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now this is up there real quick. If I could, let me give some history.
Yeah, just do it.
What did it say? Chronicle of a Mastiff?
Yeah, Chronicles of a Mastiff, yeah.
Okay. 4, 5, 6,000 years ago, whatever it was, Mastiffs were used by the Romans, the Sumerians as war dogs. Probably the Egyptians too, but most definitely by the Romans and Greeks. Those same Mastiffs were used in competition with each other, fighting. It developed into that too. So a lot of the modern day fighting dogs, pit bulls, trace their roots back to those Molosser or Mastiffs from ancient times. That's how long people been fighting dogs.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that in there. I have a depiction. It's a carving in rock of 2 handlers holding 2 Mastiffs. They're fighting each other.
Yeah.
That's from Mesopotamia or Sumeria or something like that. Thousands of years ago. Well, it's not a recent concept. It's not unique. People been fighting dogs for many, many years. Now it's illegal or whatever. But because of that fighting background or function background, whatever it is, hound dogs or whatever, those past dogs influence your dogs of today. That's why they're good hunting dogs and good catch dogs and tough and durable. They have that background in them.
Right.
And gameness and all that stuff. That's how important doing something with your dog is. Keeping it function.
Yeah.
You don't lose it. So I love doing this. We'll do it again. We can, whenever you want, however long you want. I'm ready. I really enjoy it, and I respect you so much for what you're doing.
Man,
putting it out there. Got a great channel.
Thank you. Yeah, likewise, you too. So I just want everybody to go over there because you really go, woo, boy. He go in, man. Yeah. I can't sit and talk to myself by myself. I say, boy, So I got to have somebody there, you know what I'm saying? But for you to just constantly I don't know how many times you do your show a week.
Yeah, whenever I think about something or something comes up, or I have hundreds of topics that I got to get to. So it's never ending, just whatever time allows. Right. But I've been doing all these concepts and breeding methods and all the standards that I talk about. I've had them for over 40 years. The same shit I'm talking about today, I talked about 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Same thing. But there's so much to it that I could make a topic on the same topic 100 different ways. Yeah. So that's what keeps me going. And then sometimes things come up, and I'll share it here on another chat, this and that. It's all over the place because not everybody sees everything. That's right. So it's an opportunity for people. They can go to my channel and listen, go to someone else's, get some of the same stuff and different stuff depending on what we're talking about.
That's true.
So it's just never ending.
It is. Yeah. All right, guys. It's been another one. We appreciate y'all coming out. We'll see you the next time.
Peace.
Peace.